just play like camel Shiromsha riders with some crossbows behind. So Winchester composition will be super solid. While MBL, honestly, I think we might see another unit in crossbows very soon. And not the Janitor either.
Is it a Cav Archer? Please tell me it's not a Cav Archer.
No, it's not a Cow Archer either. It's another unit MBL tends to make.
Oh, is it Skirmisher?
I think we might see skirms.
Well, we will have to see. But, you know, as much as MBL style isn't really making the most sense to us, it is still nevertheless being pretty effective. That said, I do really like Winchester's approach here, just applying a little bit of pressure with the archers. Yeah, you lost the Vil, that's not ideal. But at the end of the day, you're getting your double stable set up here with Rajaras, you're adding some Camel Scouts on the way up to Castle Age, and it seems like Vinch is getting himself set up really nicely.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's making camels now on the way to Castle Age. So they will turn into the Castle Age camel for free. And that's always a good bonus, because he's expecting, you know, MBL's Berbers, right? Surely he's going to take advantage of the 20% cheaper or 15% cheaper cavalry units in the Castle Age, right?
Right?
MBL doesn't work like that.
The Anakin and Padma meme. Surely you're going to use the Berber's Castle Age Camel discount, right? Right?
Right? No. Another thing to point out with the style difference here is like Winchester is still not fully walled, but he has also collected more resources in MBL. That is partly because he has just been slowly walling up throughout the game while applying pressure, and that's the style I like to play as well personally. But yeah, MBL going for immediate university, and he's going freaking Janitors.
Of course. Because if there's any civ that you want to make Janitors against, it's the one that has the best camels and the one that has the Shravamsha riders. Yep, that checks out.
Ballistics immediately for MBL. I mean, like, the thing that... Okay, let's be real here. Like, the crossbow at home with some Janitors behind with ballistics, they're going to stabilize the situation for him. Winchester doesn't have any tools or units right now that can like break in and kill MBL. And MBL behind this can just add town centers, maybe one TC on the stone, one TC on the wood gold, and just slowly build up his economy. And he can slowly get his way towards that camel archer we were talking about. However, he's actually moving out on the map even. I mean, he has ballistics, so he might feel comfortable doing it. And Winchester has not been making Shravamsha riders or anything. So like, with everything I'm seeing right now, this is fine for MBL, but this is also suicide in a regular game. Yeah. Normally there will be like 5-6 Shravamsha riders on the field here. So it doesn't make sense, but it also makes sense, which is my way of describing MBL as a whole, I guess.
That certainly checks out. But if you're playing this like crossbowman style, I mean, really, it's just only 2 Janitors that were made. If you're playing this more crossbowman-oriented style, getting a quick ballistics, aren't you worried that Winchester just adds a TC and gets further ahead economically? I mean, that's exactly what he did, and I feel like it was obvious for Winchester to do that, and it feels like, I don't know, MBL's probably going to fall a little behind economically because of this.
Yeah, but the Winchester also did ballistics himself and has a second TC, so MBL's getting a solid trade here, right? He's out on the map as well. Just now the Shravamsha rider production starts. That was a bit confusing to me why Winchester delayed that so much. Like, if he now had those 4 camels plus 4 Shravamsha riders, MBL goes for forward siege! Bro, you have like 9 skirms and 2 Janitors on the map. What universe is this gonna work?
Okay. The MBL cinematic universe. That's where it's gonna work.
This is so confusing. I mean,
they just get 2 Shravamshas for free.
Yeah, but the Winchester is picking off the villager that is going forward for MBL here, so the villager will go down. Like, this game is just all kinds of confusing to me right now. But it's what it is. MBL adding TC as well, trying to put the pressure on the hill. Again, this should never work for MBL. He does not nearly have enough units to deal with. Like, once there's like 6 Shravamsha riders with like 8-9 crossbow, MBL's army is toast. And what I like from Winchester as well is he's not being greedy. He's making units from the range still. He's making Shravamsha riders. He has not gone for a 3rd TC yet because he knows he needs to stabilize the situation first and take back map control.
He does indeed. MBL does have a second TC down, but obviously is significantly slower than his opponent, although he does have that extra heavy plow upgrade, which is nice. But remember, ballistics on these crossbowmen, that's just 1 villager forward Viper, and that could be a dead guy, but that's where we have the power-walking villagers from Berbers.
True. But yeah, this is the awkwardness right now. He has to start firing on the Shravamsha riders, but Shravamsha riders do survive a couple extra arrows because they do dodge the projectiles. And actually, a solid micro by MBL though, but eventually this army does go down. And this is what I'm talking about. In what universe was it ever realistic for MBL to get the Seed Workshop up? I don't think there was a universe where that works out. But again, MBL takes sometimes these weird risks and weird decisions that somehow works sometimes. But yeah, he has a second TC up at home, so he's not massively behind in economy, but Winchester is slowly pulling ahead. He has 10 more vills, already almost 1,000 resources more collected, and a better composition on the field right now. Again, this is a point where I'm like, if MBL played crossbow with his own knights or camels, his composition would have been completely fine. But like just only crossbows and then like a few janitors mixed in, it is just a kind of a weird approach, and it doesn't really make sense. I would love to like pick MBL's brain about this, honestly, because I'm sure he has a reason behind what he's doing things, right? It's just confusing for a guy with my playstyle versus a guy with his. He lost 3 monks on the left side. Oh.
Oh, yikes. There was some minor skirmishes happening in 3 different locations at the map all at once. For such a passive game, that was a pretty intense like minute right there, where both players really had to they minimize their losses. Winchester, 5 villager kills, 3 monk kills.
Oh, MBL's going for a TC, but there are crossbows there. Actually, he's getting away with all of them. Winchester going for the army rather than the villagers, which actually kind of made sense. So those power walking Berber villagers, as you said, gets away fast. Oh, MBL doing a nice move on the bottom now, killing the crossbow while microing. I think both players are doing very nice moves here at the moment.
And that's, of course, exactly what we would expect between players of this level in a set that is this big. Because remember, guys, the winner of this set will move on to NAC. The loser is going to spend a lot of quality time on the sofa with Ornlu, watching.
The loser is going to get to enjoy Christmas with his family.
Yeah.
The winner has to enjoy Christmas with, hopefully, doubt.
Well, that is the second set. So I think you're on baby duty after the first set, so...
Depends how fast it goes, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, okay, so I'm definitely going to be casting that one, so maybe you can put it on in the background then.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, so far, MBL, I mean, like, that third TC is still very ambitious. MBL is not giving up on it. He's trying to do a Seed Bookshop now as well. But the best thing Winchester can do is just non-stop armor production, try to continue putting the pressure and denying this while the skirmishes happen on both sides now. MBL will clean up the bottom side, but yeah, the third TC for MBL is continuously denied. And MBL's answer is a third archery range. I do understand that you don't want to make cavalry against the camels of Gujaris, but again, if you have crossbows behind it, your crossbows can take care of the camels while you have knights or camels of your own to support in other ways. Oh, MBL is going for a tease now on the bottom. Okay, is walling it in though, so you should be safe as the Shiramsha were slowly coming down.
Yeah, the monk's also there, going to shoo away the Shravamsha riders for now. I mean, it's actually a cute little nook there with the crossbowman nice and safe. So, I mean, MBL is trying to get himself set up, but this is kind of like what I was saying before. It's sort of like MBL's playing to not lose. Winchester is getting further and further ahead economically. His army composition for mid-game is excellent with the crossbowmen and then the mix of camels and Shravamsha riders. Got all the map control. And although, like, post-imp, we can say favors Berbers, up until then, it feels like Gujaris just have so many strong options.
Yeah, Gujaris are solid until then, but again, I feel like MBL also just went for a weird composition here. Berbers have, like I said, I have alluded to a couple of times now, Berbers still have solid options to try and fight this, right? But MBL just went for, again, I feel like I'm being overly critical of this, but it's just the decision-making there didn't add up to me at all. But especially trying to go for a forward Seed Workshop after the opening, which was super strange. But also he's now trying to really force the issue to get on stone. He really wants to get to those camel archers, which is why he's continuously trying to take the stone on the front. He's now finally adding a stable, so if he can now get a couple of units out and start taking some favorable trades just to stabilize the situation, I mean, you can never rule out, but yeah, Winchester's in the back of his economy as well with Shiramsha riders, and Winchester might be taking a good fight on the front now as well, so this is getting a very, very tough for both players.
Oh, yeah, the Scorpions are here, but not all of the units are fighting for Winchester, but it doesn't matter because the Shravamsha riders just kind of raiding with impunity at this point. Now we've got some Shravamsha riders at the front. They are sniping the Scorpions. There's still a few crossbowmen left over at the back. And right now, the Mangonel coming in could be easily sniped by the Shravamsha riders, and that appears to be exactly what is probably almost not going to happen. Saved it.
Castle coming up now on the hill where they belong. So Winchester real positioning himself, great for the long game as well. MBL kind of equalized the score somehow, but he lost 19 villagers in the back of his base. And trust me, that's a costly loss.
Yeah, that is not ideal, but I mean, there are only 8 villagers building this castle, Viper, and then the camels are going to go down pretty fast with the crossbow, and there just aren't that many crossbowmen here left for Winchester. Is the Lord going to bless this game?
The Mangonel went down, so I believe like if MBL needs to target the villagers, the army will kill his crossbow. So
Okay.
in the end, the castle will go up, and Winchester is very close to click to Imperial Age as well. And he's still doing raids in the back. So yeah, Winchester is still in a fantastic spot with a 30 villager lead, and still full map control. He's also the one. No, he doesn't have relic. MBL is the one with the relic, but yeah, it's just MBL is just in a real tough
MBL
spot.
picked up a relic? Look at him
picked up a
evolving!
He is evolving indeed in some ways. Yeah, now doing a defensive castle as well, which ends up also being on the low ground. MBL is just in all kinds of troubles as we see Kshatriyas coming in. And now Winchester has two options. He can go Imperial Age, win the game there, or use Kshatriyas to just spam units forever in Castle Age.
Yeah, and especially post-buff, those Gujara Siege Elephants are just such a nightmare to deal with in Castle Age. So, I mean, I think you can argue both ways. Probably Imp would be the safer route. Maybe just try and raid, keep your opponent stuck at home, and then click up to Imp. And I think that's going to be exactly what Winchester's doing.
In this case, I would feel like maybe Castle Age is the safe option, right? Because you know that you have a lead. So the way to throw a lead would be to try and maybe go Imp and then lose army and map control in Castle Age. Nice denial now by Winchester on the bottom of the TC, but I mean, in the end, I think Winchester cannot lose from this point. So no matter what decision he makes, it's going to be the right one.
You know, as a, well, shall we say, intermediate level player, I always kind of wonder, like, in my own games, like, what is the point in which, like, if I was thrown in Winchester's position, like, would I still win the game? How over would the game have to be? I don't think it's that over yet. I'm sure MBL would still beat me from this position, but... I mean...
Really?
I
Do
guess
you
I'd be
think
on the
you're
way.
that bad, Ornlu?
Maybe I am underestimating myself, but it's always kind of an interesting thing
I mean, in this
to
situation,
consider.
all you need to do is make units and go Imp, and then you cannot lose. I think you know how to do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't want to call the game or anything, guys. This game is still super hype. It's totally not over.
Yeah.
But
This is
I
what
mean,
happens
even
when
Ornlu
you're
could
with
win
the
from here.
anti-hype caster, man. the game just dies in front of you. Honestly, great castle positioning here, though, from Winchester. It's on the forward hill. You're sort of daisy-chaining your castles. It denies that secondary gold. Dotting your I's, crossing your T's, all that good stuff. And, yeah, Winchester's creeping closer and closer to Imp and that tied series.
Indeed, it looks like we have a set in our hands. Economy very well set up for Winchester as well. MBL going for another castle on the hill on the top. Again, that's where castles belong, so I totally respect that. But he's just too far behind at this point. Imperial Age might already be a GG trigger. But MBL is a guy that likes to fight on as well. Maybe he also wants to continue warming up.
Yeah, a little bit of a Freudian slip there. Continue walling up.
Warming up.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Another castle from Winchester on top as well. Handcart coming in. Resources collected now over 5,000 more for Winchester. This is just a safe to say uphill battle for MBL if he was ever to come back in this.
And, you know, weird decision-making aside from MBL, do you think that there was, like, any one moment where he sort of fell too far behind Winchester? Like, what do you think was sort of the tipping point?
Probably the main thing was when he got the Shiramsha raid in the back at the same time as the fighting in the middle. But he was already kind of behind there. It's like where... This is like it's been like a slow, steady falling behind, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Like, Winchester made a lot of decisions and put on great aggression. MBL was just continuously reacting and kind of ended up on a bit of a weird composition in this matchup. And Winchester, again, just didn't make many mistakes in terms of his decision-making or unit composition. And once he got those solid raids in and got the position on the map, he was just in a position where at that point, like, he would have to make so many mistakes to give up the lead he had. As we see MBL committing now fully on Camel Archers. He does have 3 castles up, so that's solid production. But he is still 25 population behind and still a minute and a half away from Imperial Age.
Yeah, I mean, as nice as those blue camel archers look, I'm afraid it's going to be difficult to sort of make the comeback happen with them. Again, go for mass heavy camel here. What do you think? Do you think pure heavy camel is the best against a blob of camel archers, or do you think you need to mix in some Trivamsha riders? I'm never really sure which, like, what the ratio is that's best.
Well, I think if you have a lead Shiramsha and heavy camel, it never hurts